there are many images that still, struck in my mind after seeing the documentary and the series. And but there is a sentence that is still, like echoing in my mind, that is, when you're poor, you're not free in America. And that was a point that for me was really, like everything is heartbreaking, because I realized that we knew very, very little, especially outside America, I think. So I would like you to comment a little bit on that phrase, because I think it's the core of what was happening at that time, and what we have discovered now, thanks to your series, your documentary, the people that you choose actually to speak in it and to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Right.
So, just to, because I don't think Shelton and Lucretia have seen that episode yet, so I'll just sort of contextualize like
Okay.
what was
Okay.
happening in that scene. So that is something that is spoken by General Honore, I believe in episode 4 of the
Yeah.
series. And for me, I wanted to put him in conversation in that moment with something that happened in the past and a piece of archival footage where you hear this newscaster kind of watching the images as they're unfolding, and he's kind of like, he literally says they're so black and they're so poor. It's a way that really kind of strips the humanity out of these folks that we're seeing, and the images are kind of this mass of people, a mass of black people that we're seeing. And part of what we really wanted to do in the series is restore people's humanity and individuality and individual experiences to the story. And so part of what General Honore is doing in that moment is kind of reacting and responding to that. And I think one of the things that we really wanted to kind of make clear is that all of the things that we see play out in the series, they already existed, right? The sort of class issues, the race issues, the media representations, the police surveillance. None of these things were created by the storm or the flood. All of these things were revealed by it in ways that like you couldn't look away from. And so one of those things was about how on the front end of the storm, the people who are the most vulnerable have the least ability to recover on the back end of the storm. And you see the way that kind of money and income and poverty sort of informs those things. Like everything that goes into evacuating a city very quickly costs money. It costs money to have a car, to put money in your car, to get a hotel room. And all of these things were known in advance of the storm. And so a lot of what was kind of happening in that moment was General Honore sort of taking the kind of mass story of this sort of disindividuated group of people and helping us put a human face on it, and then also kind of tying those institutional and structural issues to the human story. And so our goal was to kind of take that and then put it in the hands of the people like Shelton and Lucretia who lived it and can really kind of put a human face on a story in which people were really dehumanized in the way that it was told at the time.
Yeah, thank you. And I would like to ask, directly to Shelton and Lucrece, or Lucretia, I think.
Lucretia.
And Lucretia, thank you. And, like, what do you wish actually people outside New Orleans can truly understood about, what was like to be in the Superdome at that days, or what you have felt after you have returned back home and actually home wasn't there and you have to rebuild everything from zero. I think your sense of community, because in that situation I think it was very, very challenging to even to trust your closed one, or like everybody that was in a very state of danger. So
Yeah.
I would like to ask you this.
Well, Sheldon, you can answer from the Superdome perspective, but from my perspective, I was in a hotel in the Hyatt downtown. I tried to go in the Superdome, but they wouldn't allow me, with my dog, and they want to search my daughter and a 2-year-old cousin that I had with me. And I was like, the National Guard wants to go these males want to go in their bra and their underwear to search for weapons. And I just didn't understand it. And I was like, oh, no, never mind. You know, we'll find somewhere else to go. And that's what happened with me. But with Shelton, he was in there the entire time. And maybe he would like to expand on that. Sheldon?
Yeah, I got it, Mr. Chris. Yeah, I just was keeping the mic muted because I've been getting some feedback. But anyway, yeah, it's one of those things where, like, even to this day when I go into the Superdome, yeah, we went there for the concert, and, like, you know, often you just have this weird feeling. You know, I was a kid growing up in New Orleans, used to go to the Bayou Classic, used to go to the Saints games. It always was a place of joy and happiness, you know, like, you know, when you went there. So, you know, the fact that it turned into a nightmare, you know what I mean? And then when we finally escaped the place, you know, and got out, like, I could never stop thinking about that place. I could never stop thinking about the people that was around me. I could never stop thinking about all the events that happened. I, you know, never forget all of those things. But I will say, you know, like in the beginning, yeah, obviously you'll see a lot of minorities, you know, that were there in the beginning. But then they had also, like, so many people started getting rescued. So that's when I think the race, like, mix up got kind of like, it was more white people than you'll start saying because they was getting rescued and they actually was being brought to the Superdome. But initially they had a fair, you know, bit of whites. I never say it was all black. It wasn't that. But obviously we was the majority of the people. But along the way, as the place started swelling and more people started coming in, the number started climbing. I mean, you had a lot of stuff going on. I would say you had a lot of, I'm gonna say, like, rumors that were spreading all around the place, you know, and we all was in a bad situation. So if you hear a rumor, most likely you're gonna take it to be the truth, whether it's the truth or not. You know, in this particular case and some things that happened, I would say maybe it helped us out that somebody spread a false rumor because it made parents and other people that had kids with them take better care of them and look after them and stuff like that. Because when I first got there, I was like, oh, Lord, they just running wild everywhere. It's about to get crazy in here, you know. And so it's just a lot of stuff to, like, take in. You know, you're seeing the water come in for the first time. You're like, you got to move on this side of the Superdome. You got to move here. You thinking of the Middle Passage. You thinking of stuff like that, how you stacking us up. Then when, you know, all of a sudden, like, they don't want to give you water and food. You like, man, I think they really just trying to starve us out. Like, they're about to kill us. Like, you know, you have all of these thoughts going on. So obviously, you know, when I got out of that place, and it just always on my mind all the time. Like, I wrote about it many different ways, all kind of ways, you know, like to try to catch everything that some people didn't, you know, maybe see in the footage. Like, you know, maybe I'll speak on it and try to talk about it more. But yeah, it's just something you'll never forget. It's painful. But the level, you know, the fact of being rich and poor, they had rich people because they got rescued. They had to get that too as well. Like, so it wasn't just all poor people. And then I just a question how people, you know, in a sense of rich and poor as far as money. Like, I'm gonna just say New Orleans, like, we rich in spirit. We rich in love. We rich in pride. We rich in dignity. Well, yeah, we could just keep on going, right? Like, it's like, you know, what level of poor, like, you know what I mean? Like, just not having the money at the end of the month. Most people don't have money at the end of the month. We just sent your child to school. Like, I was a single parent at the time. Like, I know my pockets was burnt, you know what I mean? And many others. And so, you know, it's hard to find gas. They ran out of gas. Even people who had money couldn't get gas. So I don't want to keep going, but yeah, I'll never forget it, you know? So I'm glad, you know, they people like Traci and everybody that's a part of the staff that recognized our stories, like letting us tell our stories, and, you know, and hopefully people get to see it for what it is, and, you know, it'll make it, you know, more awareness for everybody across the board.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shelton, for sharing. And one quick last question I would like to ask you, Traci. I mean, like, when you decided to put this story all together and you met people like Shelton and Lucrece, what was it like for you, you know, to hear their story for the first time and trying, you know, to figure out what you wanted to tell to the world, actually, because I think it's an act of bravery also, you know, to tell their story and to show their true emotion like that. It's not easy to see.
No, it isn't. And that's something that I tried to make sure was always front of mind, that all of these people have experienced a profound trauma that continues to reverberate in their lives to this day. So first of all, the graciousness of all of these folks who are in the film and their willingness to kind of share the story with us for the sake of like allowing the world to understand what really happened was never far from mind. And I think obviously this is a massive sprawling story with a lot of moving parts. But the North Star for me and the entire team of folks that were making this was how can we restore the story of what happened to the people who lived it, to the people of New Orleans, and really center their humanity, their agency, their dignity at the heart of the story. So when that sort of is like the touchstone for how we approached it, I won't say it was ever easy. It's a very difficult story to tell, but it was very clear how we should sort of go about approaching the story.
And we appreciate you for that, Traci, for letting us this story
Thank
out.
you. Thank you so much. It's been, an honor talking to you and, having the possibility to see the series. So thank you so much. And, all the best, really.
Thanks.
It's amazing the work you have done. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for